All right, joining me via Zoom. He's the coach, number one team in all of college basketball. It's not my opinion. That's not it. That is official as of Monday morning. I see you shaking your head, Coach Bruce Pearl. When I say that, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, well, you guys, this is your business. You're a professional. We're the number one ranked team in the country.
Okay.
And I agree with you. I think we deserve to be number one. That does not mean we're the number one team in college basketball. I think that's to be determined in March. So I hate to start off an interview and get into a deal with that. Yeah. I mean, look, you buy your ink by the barrel. I don't. I ain't trying to piss Aaron Torres off. There's no way. You got to say nice things about me, but I'm going to correct you. We're ranked number one. We're not necessarily the best team in the country.
Well, that is fair. The number one ranked team in the country in college basketball. I know we're recording here right after the Missouri game. I know there were some frustrations, but when a guy like me, who I'm a nobody, but when anybody, whoever says Auburn basketball ranked number one, what does that do for, what does that make you feel on the inside, knowing where you guys started and where you are now, again, ranked number one?
Well, I mean, I think, first of all, it's a great thing for our university. It's a great thing for the other sports teams. It's a great thing for my players and my coaches that have worked so hard. We were a team that was picked fourth or fifth in the league. And oh, by the way, we could still finish fourth or fifth in the league. I don't think we will, but we could. That's how good our league is. And so that means we've made progress. That means we've gotten better. Now and that also means we got really good players. We got really good players and guys that have made sacrifices, sharing the ball, playing with great effort and energy. You talk about the game last night at Missouri. We won 55-54. Missouri played terrific. Conzo Martin had a great game plan. And Missouri could have been, storming the court and beating the number one team in the country. And that was a possibility. But our kids played hard. We held Missouri to 54 points. Missouri averages 72 at home. That means we had to play with great effort and energy. No, we didn't shoot it very well. We did not execute offensively very well. We didn't look anything like the best team in the country last night. Missouri had something to do with it, but it was our defense and our rebounding that carried the day. And that defense and rebounding will travel.
You mentioned being picked fourth or fifth. I saw an interview you did a week or so ago where you said when those polls came out, you weren't mad about it. You thought that you guys had a lot of work to do. At what point did you realize that maybe you guys could be a little bit better than what all of us, myself certainly included, I think I had you third, fourth, fifth, somewhere in there, that you could be better than those preseason polls indicated?
Well, I thought the preseason polls were accurate. I had us in the same area. I mean, going into the preseason, it's hard to put us ahead of Kentucky, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee. Then you probably, you're right there next with that group. And then there's Florida and LSU and Mississippi State. I mean, league's really good. And so I don't think they did not inappropriately rank us. I don't think that when you have 5 newcomers, a freshman and 4 transfers, when you have 2 mid-major guys going to be your point guard, there were a lot of questions that needed to be answered. But the biggest thing is this team has improved. This team believes in each other. We're playing 10 or 11 guys. And so it's been the sum of our parts, which makes for great chemistry. But that's also the foundation of our program, Aaron. We've been playing guys double-digit minutes my entire career. And I'm talking about 9 or 10 guys, double-digit minutes every year. It helps develop the bench. It helps you win games late in games and late in seasons.
And so was there a moment where, I remember even talking to you in the springtime right after the guys enrolled, and you said, look, we have a chance to be really good. You talked about, we're talking about Walker Kessler, Jabari Smith. You said, I really like our front court. And that was obviously no disrespect to anybody else on the team. Was there a moment where you were like, oh, we got a chance to probably be a little bit better than maybe even I thought that we could be?
Oh, that's a great question. When we went to St. Louis, and we're down 13 or so against a good St. Louis team that was playing great. And Wendell Green took over. And he did it with ease, and he did it with a smile on his face. And he did it with, Coach, I got this. Coach, I got you. I got this. And then just follow him. Just go, and it gave the rest of the guys confidence. That's what it takes. and we've been tapping into that. And then when you've got the best player in the country in Jabari Smith, that has been so consistently solid and a great shot maker and a great teammate. And you got Walker Kessler, the best rim protector in the country. Then you got Alan Flanagan and Devin Cambridge and Jalen Williams and Dylan Cardwell, all guys that played last year that come back and play different roles. Now you got depth. You know, there are just a lot of people. You got Zep Jasper, who is as good a defender on the ball as, you know, as we see night in and night out, giving energy beyond energy, every possession, never taking a possession off. It's the sum of our part, and a great coach and a great coaching staff. I've got the best staff in the country that has been with me now for 5 years, and have taken a lot of pride in building a very consistently competitive program.
I don't know if you know this about me, Coach. I'm actually a University of Connecticut alum. And I only bring that up because the best game that I've seen all year was Uconn Auburn. And that was to date the only loss that you have. But I bring it up. I watched the entire game minute by minute. No rooting interest, by the way. I respect the heck out of the Tigers too. But I bring it up because you bounce back and just have two really nice wins right after that. Did that teach you something? You have this incredible game, one play either way for like 50 straight minutes, could have won the game. You take that loss and then you bounce back and have two awesome games in that Atlantis tournament.
Well, I'm just really glad that I've become a fan favorite of all the Uconn basketball folks, because they're just like, Coach, you just keep on winning, keep bringing our net numbers up. You know, David Benedict, the athletic director at Uconn, was very involved in hiring me here at Auburn. He was a senior associate AD.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And so David Benedict hired me along with Jay Jacobs at Auburn. And he made a pretty good hire in Coach Hurley, don't you think, at Uconn? And so, look, I grew up in New England. So I grew up at a time when Uconn and Boston College joined the Big East. And I'm old enough to remember Don Perno when he was coaching at Uconn, and a lot of the great, even the history before that. So Uconn and Providence were the two New England basketball programs that kind of, you know, that people started to take notice of. And then, of course, Coach Calhoun, you know, took Uconn to national acclaim. A guy that out of, you know, a Massachusetts high school coach that rose up through Northeastern University on Huntington Avenue, went to Uconn and created a dynasty. So I'm a big Uconn fan as well. That was a great game. Both teams, I thought Uconn, you know, they haven't shot it that well since then, but I think they're starting to hit their stride right now. They're getting healthy. That game, that was a great matchup. And maybe we'll see them again down the road.
It sounds like you guys brought out the best in them. Maybe that's what it was. By the way, you said Boston College. You were the mascot at Boston College for at least a time, like a game or something.
One weekend. My sophomore year, might have been my junior year. It was my junior year. The Eagle was sick, and couldn't the mascot. And I was just sitting on Tom Davis's bench, you know, keeping some meaningless stat. And as a manager, and he's like, look, I got a guy that'll put the suit on, send the suit. And without any training, I went around and flew around. I guess it would have been Coleman Coliseum.
The Coleman Coliseum right down the road from you?
It was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That was the only time I was the mascot.
Wow. I knew you were the mascot. I didn't know it was down there. So, all right, very good. A couple other questions. You're a busy man. First of all,
I'll tell you what it does. It gives hope to all potential future mascots.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, was that when you knew, okay, maybe this coaching thing isn't so bad after all?
I had no idea.
Could be worse?
No idea.
So real quick, looking ahead, I mean, number one team in the country, tough road ahead starting this weekend with the SEC Big 12. You've been here before, but your guys haven't. How do you keep your guys locked in for the task at hand?
You know what, Aaron? They're going to be as locked in as they can be. I'm amazed by their resilience and how locked in they've been. It's got to give. It gives every year. It just hasn't given yet. And so, Because I mean, we're old. We're us coaches. We understand the grind.
Yeah.
You know, young guys don't necessarily because they've never been through it. So we're going to try to do that. We do the best job we can to try to put them in a position to be excited about playing, take advantage of the opportunity. Man, Oklahoma will be one of the best defensive teams we played against. You know, they just do a fantastic job. They're so well coached. They played as hard a schedule as there is in the country. They've got some great wins already this year. And they lost a couple of close games to Baylor and to Kansas, and they got to go to West Virginia tonight. It's unbelievable. It'll be like taking a break, having to play the #1 team in Auburn after they've gotten through this gauntlet in the Big 12.
Is there any fear? You just mentioned it a minute ago, but is there any fear of, you know, I don't want to say peaking too early, but keeping what you're no, go ahead. All you.
No. We have so much to improve on that we haven't even come close to peaking. All right. Not even close. The question is, will we? I don't know whether we will. That's the challenge. That's the chart. But I can tell you, is there a chance that we have a letdown? Absolutely. Just human nature. These kids been grinding since the summertime. And I don't think success will change us. We're going to be humble and hungry. But there is a huge prize on our head. Oklahoma, for example, they're not a bubble team yet. They're not a bubble team. They beat us. And all of a sudden, they're a win or two away from being in the bubble. And if they beat us, they're good enough to beat anybody. And they're good enough to beat us. So they know that. And that's what coaches preach to them. So you watch them come in here with their hair on fire. And that's what we're going to see all the time.
I think what you just said would have an Auburn fan excited. What do you think that you guys can still improve upon, even as the #1 team in the country?
Well, I'm not telling you because I'm not
okay.
going to get the report away.
All right, fair enough. I'm trying to think of what else. That's basically all I got. Listen, there was one other question I got to ask. You guys are having a ton of success. Your name is going to emerge with other places. How do you handle that on a day-to-day basis? I'm not saying it. Other people, whatever. The point is, these are questions that I'm sure if you haven't been asked yet, you're going to be asked. How do you handle that as a coach?
What makes me effective, because I'm not very talented, is I lock in. And so I'm just locked in right now to Oklahoma. And then we play Alabama after that, and then at Georgia. And all I could do is see this. That's what I ask my players to do, to stay focused on that. And that's what I'm going to do, Aaron, stay focused on that. That's not just coach talk. That's real. And so, look, the other on the other side of it, if you weren't having success, look, in coaching, when you're winning, they're worried you're going to leave. And when you're losing, they're packing your bags. So, it's a pretty nomadic profession. So it's a good problem to have.
Listen, I'm not very talented either. So I feel the pain of the grind on a daily basis, but Coach, dude, I know you got a million calls these days. So I truly appreciate your time. Thank you. Best of luck against Oklahoma. Best of luck going forward. We'll catch up at some point, but I know you're busy. I appreciate you making even just a few minutes here. We'll do it again soon. #1 team in the country. Genuinely appreciate your time. Thank you.
I respect your work, Aaron. Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Coach.